I'm Adrienne Pedersen. Today on Upfront, Racine County Sheriff calls for criminal charges against state elections commissioners. Next, Attorney General Josh Kaul.
The idea that you would charge somebody for a crime in these circumstances is really outrageous, and it's not what we expect to see in a democracy.
Plus, voter confidence. What have investigations, audits, reviews, and claims of stolen elections done to people's faith in the system? And the school board recall in Mequon-Thiensville fails in a big way. Why some conservatives backed it and why they won't quit.
Taking on the issues important to Wisconsin. This is Upfront with your host, Adrienne Pedersen.
Hello and thank you for joining us. We begin today with the case of possible voter fraud at a nursing home in Mount Pleasant. The Racine County Sheriff is recommending charges, but not against anyone in the nursing home. The sheriff is asking the district attorney to criminally charge 5 of 6 members of the Wisconsin Elections Commission. Sheriff Christopher Schmaling accused elections commissioners of breaking the law because of their votes to suspend sending trained poll workers to nursing homes last year because of the pandemic. The sheriff says that his 10-month investigation found evidence that nursing home employees helped residents vote. Family members say some of those residents weren't of sound mind. We asked Sheriff Schmaling to appear on today's program. His office declined. We also asked state elections commissioners to join us today, and they didn't respond. The sheriff, who is a Donald Trump supporter, has called on Democratic Attorney General Josh Kaul to investigate. And the Attorney General joins us now on Upfront. So thank you for being with us. And first of all, I'm just curious, would that be part of your job to represent the elections commissioners if the Racine County DA does decide to charge them?
Well, first, thanks for having me, Adrienne. We have a role playing involved in statewide investigations, the Department of Justice. And so if there were a statewide investigation that we potentially would be involved in, we could play that role. Separately, we do represent state agencies when cases come up and it's appropriate. Here, there would be outside counsel that would represent the Elections Commission if we were to be involved, given our role as an investigative agency.
Well, and Sheriff Schmaling is recommending felony charges of misconduct in public office and election fraud and 3 misdemeanor counts of being party to a crime. Do you think what the commissioners did of not having voting deputies in nursing homes rise to the level of a crime?
I think that what Sheriff Schmaling is suggesting is an abuse of his authority. First, it's important to note that the context in which this has arisen, which is this continued effort to promote the big lie in multiple different investigations that are now going on. What we have here is a good faith decision made by election commissioners to try to make sure that people were able to exercise their right to vote during the pandemic. And that, by the way, is a constitutional right. Sheriff Schmaling hasn't taken that into account in his discussion so far. The idea that you would charge somebody for a crime in these circumstances is really outrageous. And it's not what we expect to see in a democracy. It's reminiscent of the locker up chants that we heard several years ago. Our elected officials who are doing their best to help administer our election system deserve better than this.
Then what do you think the sheriff's motive is here?
Well, I'm concerned that he met with Speaker Voss before he even reached out to our office. But it's telling to see the difference between what he's suggested and what Speaker Voss has done. He's proposing that felony charges be brought, and yet Speaker Voss and Senate Majority LeMahieu haven't even asked for those 2 commissioners to step down who they appointed, who voted for this policy. So there's a big disconnect here. Clearly, this is an effort to attract publicity by the sheriff. You wouldn't normally accuse people of having committed crimes at the end of an investigation without announcing a charging decision, but here, obviously, it's fanning the flames of the big lie.
Do you think that the Racine County DA will decide to go ahead with charges?
That's her decision, and I don't know exactly what information is being presented to her, but based on what we've seen made publicly available, so be a stunning act to charge state appointees who are acting in good faith. In a democracy, we have political disagreements, but we don't resolve them with criminal charges. That's not how our system works. And it's not how our system should work. So we'll see how this plays out. But, it would certainly be pretty shocking to see charges brought.
So the sheriff's not recommending charges against the staff at the nursing home, but considering the sheriff says that one person voted despite a court order declaring that person incompetent to vote, Should someone at the nursing home be charged for that?
That's where you would potentially expect to see charges here. If there was fraud that somebody committed, for example, if somebody knew that a voter was ineligible to vote and they still helped them cast a ballot, that would be a problem. That's a crime, and that's something where there should be charges brought. My understanding, though, is that there hasn't been any suggestion from the sheriff's office that they are seeking to bring charges there. So what we have so far statewide is a lengthy investigation that resulted in no charges and no other evidence anywhere else in the state. And yet we've heard these grand pronouncements from the sheriff about how this calls the integrity of the election into question. That's just not the case.
Well, I do want to ask you about that. So Speaker Vos was on the show last week, and I'd like to play part of what he said, and then I'll get your response. So if you could just listen to this.
It's why I'm so disappointed that the Attorney General is kind of turning a blind eye on this. We don't have a clue how many nursing homes around the state had this exact same problem, which is why the only entity that can do a statewide investigation with the potential to prosecute would be the Attorney General.
So you're saying that there's no indication of fraud at nursing homes across the state, but I think it's a fair question to ask, how do you know? Why not do an investigation?
Well, first, we have law enforcement and DAs around the state who take voter fraud very seriously. Prior to the election, we put out guidance to those agencies. And if they have any evidence of voter fraud, I fully expect them to investigate that and ultimately potentially to prosecute it. But Speaker Vos is, as Dean Knutson indicated, under a lot of pressure here. He met with Donald Trump on an airplane, and right after that, the Gableman investigation expanded significantly. Our office doesn't conduct investigations, though, based on what politicians want to have happen or based on the politics of the issue. We do it based on the facts and the law. And here the facts are that there's only one place where there have been allegations, and even that investigation didn't lead to charges. And so there's not a basis here to divert resources from things like homicide investigations or sexual assault investigations to investigating what's been presented so far. If there's real concerns about election fraud that are credible, we take those seriously and would investigate them, but that's not where we are yet.
Well, and Sheriff Schmaling basically said that they brought this to you and you didn't really give it the time of day.
Well, we met with his office. Actually, there were two meetings, and we followed up. We told them that there were some interviews that needed to be conducted as part of their investigation into Racine County. We then didn't hear from them again for months until this big dramatic press conference. And, you know, there are serious concerns here that this is being pursued for political ends. Again, it's very unusual to have a press conference alleging that people committed crimes, but without having a charging decision announced. So if there is credible evidence of fraud, we are happy to work with DA's offices and investigators. But we don't have the kind of evidence here that would justify a statewide investigation.
And I do want to ask you about this crime package, because last Monday you introduced a $115 million crime package. Since then, I'm interested kind of where you think this will go, because you've tried for things like universal background checks and the red flag law before, but Republicans wouldn't go for it. So realistically, what comes out of this?
Well, first, it's critical that our legislature takes action to address public safety. I joined with Governor Evers when he announced a $20 million grant to victim services programs, as well as $25 million for violence prevention efforts. And we're calling on the legislature to build on those efforts. We've proposed a $115 million investment in public safety. That would include funds for things like community police officers, officer recruitment and retention, for violence prevention programs, treatment and diversion programs, and other programs. Seeing the legislature take some action, we are happy to work with legislators on this, but we need to get resources to communities that have been disinvested in and underinvested in for years, so that we can start building community trust. We can start holding more criminals accountable. We can do more to address substance use disorder and mental health challenges, and so that we can continue moving forward by making our communities safer.
Okay. Attorney General, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Coming up, do people still have confidence in voting, and what investigations, reviews, and audits mean for the electoral process? And later, voters reject a school board recall in Mequon-Thiensville. We'll look at why some conservatives are backing recall movements and why they're not giving up.